Alright guys, so we are back for another Dokkan Battle video. So today we got really good news about Dragon Ball Hero cards coming to Global Dokkan, which is huge for a million different reasons. So I got the homie Goresh to talk about it because no one knows more about Dragon Ball Heroes that I know than the homie Goresh.
Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Excited to discuss what could potentially be coming in the future.
Yeah, so with Dragon Ball Heroes cards coming to Global, the big obvious thing is that when they've released a lot of these hero cards, right, they haven't done sort of like the big mega guns, right? Like Super Saiyan 4 Broly or Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, stuff like that. And it's very obvious that those are Dokkan Fest exclusive, like, tier characters. So the only reason why they haven't been doing that to now that most of us agreed on is because those cards wouldn't be able to be translated over to Global, right? Because Global doesn't have hero cards. But now...
Yeah, so I think just before we start the main discussion, I think it's important to just highlight the fact that we don't know, as of recording this, what exactly is going to be coming to Global. We know that there is going to be some form of the Heroes units coming, but for all we know, it could only be the most recent units, but I do suspect that we'll see a bunch of new stuff. But how they'll release that, we have no idea. It could be like 4 different banners, for all we know. I mean...
Yeah, so Team Dokkan, he specifically said the World Mission cards, right? So I think very clearly, Sealess, the Goku and Vegeta support units, Great Saiyaman 3, Aims, and Beat. Those, you could confirm those are coming, right? And he did also mention the event.
Yeah, I would say with like 99.9% certainty that those are coming.
Yeah, and I feel like because of the way Team Dokkan phrased it as well, it seems like the rest of them are coming, right? Like, because I feel like he would have specified further that, like, it's only these specific ones rather than, like, the whole batch. Because, like, the French data miners, they know how people get, like, they'll take one little nugget of info from them and they'll extrapolate it to a million. Like, you know what I mean? So for them to toss that out and say heroes, like, Team Dokkan has to know that people would instantly assume all of them. So if they weren't all coming, I do think he would have clarified that.
Yeah, and also just to expand on that, so when JP got the last batch of heroes units, like, I think every single, like, unit from the first ever released batch got a Dokkan Awakening. And so if those units were to come to Global now, they wouldn't need to be buffed or anything like that or adjusted.
Yep.
And so I think that might have been a setup, just to set up those units to be transferred over directly to Global without having to modify anything.
Yeah, it does make sense, because so of the 4 original units, the only one who had a Dokkan Awakening prior was the adult Gotenks, who became the Super Saiyan 3 adult. And he's still decent, right? 100% attack on super attack. You know, he's got over in a flash. He has all the necessary links. He does raise attack on super attack as well. So you put him on Global right now. He's not as good as he was 2 years ago when he came out, but he is still, I would say, pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's usable on the Super Saiyan 3 team. You could use him on... Is he on Hybrids? I think so.
Yeah, he is. Yep, Hybrids, Fusion. He's good on all of them.
Yeah, he's not bad. I mean, he's 100% attack is decent. I mean, if you look at units that are releasing these days, especially on JP, I mean, they're in a different level, but
yeah, he's
not bad by any means.
So now we can get into the real nitty gritty here, which is so Heroes cards. You know, presumably now we can get some Dokkan Fest exclusives. Now, as you guys might imagine, there is some wacky stuff out there.
Yeah.
That would be like, you know, just imagine the Twitter just out of nowhere drops Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Vegito super attacks, like how crazy people are going to go. So Goresh, again, as one of the biggest Heroes fans I know, has a nice list of characters that he think could become Dokkan Fest exclusive level characters, right?
Yeah, so basically I went on to the official website, and they have a database on there where you can sort of just search through all the cards that have ever released, basically. And so I just went through all the UR cards, so those are like the top rarity, basically, of all the cards, the 4 stars. and I compiled a list of what I thought could potentially be a Dokkan, like all the potential Dokkan Fest cards from Heroes that are not represented in Dokkan already. So if you want to start, I can start reading off some of these, and then we can discuss.
Let's jump into this. So let's see what Dokkan could potentially have in its future.
Okay, so first we have just regular Gogeta, and then the forms that I think could possibly be Dokkan Fest exclusive are A, Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta.
Okay.
And then we also have Super Saiyan 3 Great Ape Gogeta.
See, now that... Alright, so... so, when I think of, like, these categories that do, like, need expansion, right? So, like, Giant is a perfect example of a team that needs more options. Well, I think adding Super Saiyan 3 Great Ape Gogeta, that certainly does make the Giant team a little bit more enticing.
Yeah, and also, not just that, also the Super Saiyan 3 team as well, I feel like needs help, especially when you consider something like the Legendary Goku event. I haven't seen a single person beat that event with the Super Saiyan 3 team.
So even though Japanese players have really gotten it done? Oh, interesting.
I don't think I've seen... I mean, I saw some people lose on it, but I don't think I ever saw people clear it yet.
I'll have to give that a try. I recently did Mono Tech. Was able to get that done, so...
Yeah, this doesn't sound too easy.
Well, it's just... Trunks is just so dumb. I just used Trunks' leader and friend, and that took care of everything by himself.
Okay. Yeah, so I think any iteration of Super Saiyan 3 Gogeta could be very valuable, especially even for the Fusions team. So, yeah.
Yeah, because, okay, so right now the other thing I'm trying to do is no item every Super Battle World stage. And as of this moment, I don't think it's possible to do it with Fusions. I think that is the only stage that cannot be done, I think, as of right now.
Yeah, I could see that. Just because a lot of the units aren't too tanky. I mean, you have, like, Gogeta with the dodges, and LR Gogeta has decent defense, but if you get Super, it's, like, something you can really do about it.
One of the big issues, too, is that the first stage is double tech opponents. So, like, Blue Gogeta just has no chance.
Yeah, I could see that.
So...
And then, okay, so that was Gogeta. But then, as you guys know, you are not allowed to use the same name of a unit on the same team. So we also have Gogeta Xeno as the other option. And some of the forms he has are just Super Saiyan, which I don't know if they would do that, whether they could just go directly to Super Saiyan 3 for him, or they could do Super Saiyan 4, because technically he's a Gogeta Xeno, so it wouldn't contradict the already existing regular Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Or they could just skip all of that and go to Super Saiyan 4 Kaioken.
Is it... Which Gogeta goes Kaioken? Is it Xeno or normal?
Yeah, it is the Xeno one. Yeah.
Okay.
He's actually... He's in the most recent set that just came out, like, not even a month ago.
See, that... You'd think, like, maybe they would go back in time. Like, an earlier one is something like Super Saiyan 4 Broly, right? Like, he's got to be pretty early on in Heroes?
Yeah, I'd say he came out... I don't know. The game is like nearing, what is it, like 9-10 years old almost?
Something like that.
I think it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago when he came out, so about halfway.
Interesting. Because, like, I could see them sort of doing, like, some sort of, like, almost like cross-promotion, right? To, like, okay, because you said one, like, upcoming The Universe Mission set is going to be the furthest set one of these sets has ever gone. So, like, maybe, like, that would be a big, grand event, and, like, one of those cards would then become a Dokkan Fest exclusive to sort of help celebrate it. I could see that happening.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's possible. They always end up doing crazy stuff in, like, the last set of each mission. So, in, like Super Dragon Ball Heroes, like, the last, I think it was 8, they released crazy stuff, and then...
When you say crazy stuff, give us an example. Like, what's... Because what's crazy by Hero standards?
I got to pull this up because I can't remember off the top of my head, but I just know that on the last set they always release crazy stuff.
Is Dark Demon God Xeno Janemba absorbed? Is he one of those?
Hold on. So SHA. Okay, so that's when they started doing like the Dark Mask King was King Vegeta Zeno, and then they did that's the first time when so they did Mitch Kabura, and then they also did the Gogeta Zeno Super Saiyan 4, and then they also were doing hold on.
Okay, Mecha Kabura, that's like the Elder Demon, right?
Yeah. And then I mean, I guess technically they didn't do that much crazy stuff in there, but in the God Mission 10, that's when they released the last set of God missions. That's when they did the Demigra form where he was like he's actually already in Dokkan, the like small Demigra.
Okay, yeah, like kind of, yeah, like the, I don't know, he's like yellowish, I guess I would say.
Yeah, but that card in Heroes is like that is a top tier card in Heroes, like 100%.
In Dokkan, I would say he's just like, he's good, right? Like Battlefield or something, like he's very useful.
Yeah, and something interesting also is that the Boo absorbed, or the Babidi absorbed Boo card is like I know we just got an awakening, we made him really good, but prior to that awakening he was not like too good, but in Heroes that guy is like ridiculously good. So I don't know, they usually don't transfer the power level of the cards from Heroes over to Dokkan. I mean, obviously it's not a huge deal, but
yeah,
like even with Dark Mask King, like he's insane in Heroes. But
yeah, even in like World Mission, like you would recommend everyone like, yeah, get that Dark Mask King, he's nuts.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So we have the Brolys, and there's a lot for because
listen, we know how Dragon Ball loves pushing Broly too, so we will definitely see these guys show up.
And also keep in mind that this is the old Broly from V8 and 10. That Broly. So we have Majin Super Saiyan 3 Broly. We have Super Saiyan 3 Great Ape Broly. We have Super Saiyan 4 Broly, who's I feel like that's actually like not even remotely out of the question.
Oh, that's a Dokkan Fest exclusive. Like you could guarantee that one for sure.
Yeah, we have the full power Super Saiyan 4 Broly. So that's kind of like Broly's version of like the full power, super full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
And then and then we have the Broly Dark, who has like the mask on, but I don't know if they would ever put them.
Interesting. So like while we're talking about this too, I'm kind of like, I can envision a couple of categories, right? So like, especially if they add in, so in Heroes, they took a lot of the movie villains and had them get like possessed by Babidi, right? So like Turles, Bojack, like all of them got possessed, right? There's like one for all of them.
Yeah, there was actually one. I think it was in the Shadow Dragon missions when there was one set where all the CP cards were just like Majin versions of every villain.
So I could definitely see an actual Majin category like show up. So like, you know, all the Boos, and then plus like, you know, Majin Vegeta, Dabura, plus all of them. That could be interesting, especially if like, you know, we get Majin, Super Saiyan 3 Broly, and all these guys. That would be cool.
Yeah, Majin Garlic Jr. would be pretty cool.
Well, I mean, you know, Dokkan, they gotta actually give us Garlic Jr. first.
Yeah.
Listen, I said long ago I promised I would Rainbow Garlic Jr. right away, no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, they got to give us Garlic Jr. Also with Dr. Wheelo, too.
Yeah. Bizarre. And like Garlic Jr., like his movie there's absolutely, literally zero in Dokkan from it. But Dr. Willow's movie, Dr. Kochin and the Possessed Piccolo are in Dokkan in the story mode.
Yeah, so I think there's only 2 movies in the entirety of Dragon do not have representation, which is the Garlic Jr. movie, and then also Path to Power.
And yeah, we talked a little off air that Path of Power, that has an LR worthy moment in it for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so next we have Super Saiyan 4 Gohan. I think that's fairly like reasonable to expect that.
Gohan
at some
prints
point.
money. They'll do that.
And then we have Gohan Xeno Super Saiyan 4.
Oh, interesting. Wait, that one's new, right? Isn't?
Yeah. So I think, I don't remember when they did the original Gohan, but it was a few years ago, I think, at this point. But they just introduced, I think it was actually recently when they did the Gohan Xeno Super Saiyan 4 version.
Yeah, I feel like I saw that very recently.
So we were talking about this also, like, prior to recording, but once they've released like all these like what if transformations for these characters, they could then go back and then use the Xeno tag on the names to then make different quote unquote versions of that same character.
Yeah.
So that could be cool. And then they could also then go back afterwards and do transformations for all these characters. So I mean, there's basically endless possibilities here.
Yeah, and especially like, you know, right now Dragon Ball Super seems to be in some sort of state of limbo. So if that's going to continue on, Heroes is definitely like the next best thing for them to sort of push into.
Yeah, and also just to give you guys a little bit of context, Heroes is like nearing its decade anniversary. And the original game released at a time where there was like nothing going on with Dragon Ball. That was before Battle of Gods, before anything. Like any of the resurgence of Dragon Ball material was coming out. So like they were able to survive for a while without any of that stuff. And like once they ran out of stuff, they were just like, "Oh, Super Saiyan 4 Broly, like you're coming out." Like so they just made their own stuff. So I don't think a lack of original source material will have that big impact.
It just occurred to me, but you know who would be an interesting first Dokkan Fest exclusive from Heroes? Would be Super Saiyan God Trunks.
Yeah, he did just get announced or shown off.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah, I could see that
A little
actually.
God Key buff? I'd be down with that.
Yeah.
Hybrid Saiyan / God Key leader? Ooh.
And then, so we have two more left that I'm going to talk about here. First, we have the transforming giant Demigra, who I really want to get a card really badly, because he could buff two categories that desperately need a buff, which are transformation boost and then the giant category.
And specifically, this version you're talking about, that's the final boss of Xenoverse 1.
Yeah, yep, that's him. And I think he made his debut in that game. And then Heroes basically just expanded on like his story.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there's actually like if you go through the story mode in Heroes, I don't remember which God mission. I think it might be God mission 7 or 8. I think it's 7. But there's a story where he goes back in time, and you actually get to use and fight against young Demigra. So there's like a bunch of different scenarios you can do with that. I don't know how they would met that into Dokkan, but I feel like just a generic transforming Demigra who transforms into that like giant version. A, he would be on God Key.
Yes. Yep.
B, or Realm of Gods, whatever. And then B, he would be on transformation boost, and then C, he'd be in giant category.
And that also would open up perfectly for the old Demigra to get an awakening finally.
Yeah, he has.
Oh, he's also on Revived Warriors.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He is. And him, imagine him like getting paired up with LR Baby on the giant team. Like that would actually be a pretty decent team at that point.
Yeah. I'm looking at that old Demigra. So he has a rare chance to stun on his super, and then a high chance to stun on his passive. So you make him modern, where maybe he has 100% attack and defense. Maybe he gives all allies 2 key or something like that. He could be pretty interesting. He could be a nice little card for some of these difficult modes.
Yeah, I actually used him when I beat the Extreme in Super Battle Road for the first time. I rainbowed him and I gave him 15 edition.
Okay.
Yeah, he was actually pretty good. Okay, and then lastly we have Cell Xeno, who also has a giant transformation into Cell X.
Yes.
So what do you think of that?
Well, so that's big, because we're talking about a character who's going to be on 5 or 6 categories at that point. Like, you could presumably see him on... okay, so do you know what the story is of Xeno? Like, would he be Revived Warriors as well? Probably. Huh?
I think... So, all of those, like, Xeno villains, like, there's even a Xeno Frieza, too, prominent in the story.
Yeah, and then, like, Omega, Turles, a lot of them, Boo.
Yeah, so what I believe happened was they all had something to do with, like, the dark, like, Dragon Balls or something. But they were not dead. They just went back in time, and I think they were like given the Dragon Balls by someone.
Oh, so So Toa just goes and grabs them at a time then.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so
I don't think they would be warriors.
Okay, but I'm looking at Cell. So Cell, androids, transformation boost, time traveler for sure, artificial life form, giant, potentially full power. Like he's a buff to a lot of teams, man.
And just keep in mind that basically any of the units that we talk about could be on full power.
yeah, that's it. It's just subjective to if they want to do it or not.
Yep.
I would presume that like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan, Super Saiyan 4 Bardock, those types wouldn't be, especially since you said there is a call to full power Super Saiyan 4 Broly.
Yeah, actually thinking about it, I don't think any of the Super Saiyan 4s in Dokkan are in full power besides that Goku.
Yep.
So that makes sense. Otherwise, it would literally just be a Super Saiyan 4 category.
Yeah, because like if the LR Super Saiyan 4 is on there, like you make a rotation of them, like boom, there you go.
Yeah, yeah. So that's all I have for this first portion.
But it's just there's such a laundry list. Like again, like I'm even looking at your like your guide. You did a complete beginner's guide is what you called it, and there's just so much stuff in here like that they could add. All the Xeno Janembas, the Gogetas, King Vegeta. Like there's just a lot of stuff they can do, and then even goofy stuff that Heroes did that Dokkan could just copy. So like there's a Super Saiyan Blue Goku that summons a Raleigh. Like it's just so goofy. Like that works. It's so goofy. I love it.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, but even the cards that aren't like the top tier cards, like the UR cards, there's like SRs and even like R cards. Like if you go back throughout like the history of the game and look at them, that could be pretty cool for the game. Like we were talking earlier about there's a young version of Kami as a card in the game, so he could be put into Dokkan to buff the Namekian category.
Yeah,
and
they so badly need it.
Yeah, so basically think about when Kami split off from Demon King Piccolo, and I mean they basically look the same, but obviously it's one's Kami and one's Demon King Piccolo, and there's actually another Demon King Piccolo card that is a dual card with him and Kami on it, so that could be its own card too. Yeah. There's literally so many options.
I think the only difference, right, is the symbol on their chest, on their gi.
Yep, one says demon, one says god.
Okay. I'm just excited though. This is exactly like what Dokkan needs, because you just have just an infinite pool of like exciting characters to pull from. Like because Piccolo, I wanted a Piccolo Dokkan Fest, but a lot of people seems like they're like, yeah, Piccolo's okay, But like they drop Super Saiyan 3 Xeno Gogeta, people are gonna be losing their shit.
Yeah. I mean, any of these characters that we talked about in this video pretty much would just print money.
All right, guys. So you let us know what you think of all these Dragon Ball Heroes cards. Again, the big thing is that now that they, like, at least some of them are confirmed to becoming the global, it does seem like this opens up the possibility of Dokkan Fest exclusives, not just for JP, but for global too. So that's kind of, what we're discussing here. This was part 1. Keep this in mind. We're going to continue the discussion, get into some more of the wackiness on GORESH'S channel on part 2. Goresh, my boy, the homie Goresh, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. So we'll finish up here. Check out part 2, and I'll catch y'all next time.